Welcome to Depression Proof Your Life Live, a space for honest conversations about mental health, mental wellness, recovery, and resilience. Here, we explore how communication, environment, and mindset work together to move us from silence to strength. I'm Marion Mills, and I created DPYL out of my own journey through mental illness, addiction, and recovery. These conversations are about breaking stigma, finding support, and reminding you that you are not alone. If tonight's conversation brings up heavy emotions for you, please step away and reach out for support. Call or text 988 or call 911. Let's begin. Good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And welcome to Depression Proof Your Life Live. I am excited to have and introduce Janelle Moore. Janelle was born and raised in Mannheim, Germany, and moved to the U.S. in 2014. She earned her bachelor's degree from VCU and teaches German in both nationally and internationally. Since 2020, Janelle has been teaching yoga classes through events and classes. She has a partnership with PAL, which is the Petersburg Area Art League, and she's known for her unique approach to puppy therapy, with a focus on community-based wellness, bringing movement, mindfulness, and gentle connection together to support mental wellness, mental wellness at that. So please help me welcome Janelle Moore. Thanks so much for being on the show. How are you, Janelle?
Thank you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. I know that just to let the audience know, we were having some login issues, so you're actually on your phone. I hear a little feedback. Do you hear it it's probably coming because you're actually on your cell phone, but I just wanted to explain that to people. But yes, so thank you so much for being here. How were your holidays?
It was beautiful. It was great. I was with family. It was an amazing time.
Good. All right, so I actually took one of your yoga classes at PAL, and I love the space. The space is very beautiful, very peaceful. So you, of course, have worked with a lot of people through movement. What have you noticed? Uh, have you noticed the shift in emotionally and mentally when you're actually starting to work with someone when they're moving their body on a regular basis?
Absolutely. So there's just, for me as an observation, so the great thing about being an instructor is that I'm able to see everyone kind of blossom where they
Yeah.
are. So I see those who are open and ready, and then I also see the ones who kind of just, it took a lot for them to even come. So opening up is its own process.
Okay.
One thing that I will say that has been a great observation is that, one, they bring in more fluidity into the body, which in return brings in fluidity to the mind. So all of a sudden they're just open.
Yeah.
So I'd say, one of the biggest observations is just the opening and the blossoming that happens with movement, and just tapping back into this beautiful instrument that we have, which is called the body. So it's great, and it's nice to see people work with something that they haven't worked with enough. We carry this body through so many different things, yet we don't give it praise and we don't give it thanks. So when we do things like yoga and we tap back in, we're sort of giving back to this instrument, this loyal life companion that's taking us through all the way from the beginning when we first started, and that's going to be here with us all the way until the end. So it's a great homage and thanks of just having this beautiful vessel that we all have.
I love that. But that's so true. It's so true. And to your point, I think sometimes we focus on moving our bodies when we get when we get older. I think we're more mindful of our movements. When we're younger, it just comes so easily. So I think so a lot of people are either intimidated by yoga or think that it's not for them. Like, for example, knowing when to inhale or exhale or hold your breath, or how long to actually hold a stretch. What do you wish people understood more about yoga? What do you wish people actually understood more about yoga, and what it is, and what it isn't?
I think, so Probably that it isn't as intimidating as you think it is. I
Mhm.
think with social media and just
Mhm.
social norms, we can often think that something isn't for us before we even jump in the pool. We'll think
Okay.
it's 12 feet deep and it's only 4 feet, you know,
Okay.
so the mind will easily kind of stop you. So, something interesting, I know we'll get into it later in the show, but
Mhm.
example in puppy therapy or even in the yoga class that you attended, the
Mhm.
age ranges, it
Yeah.
ranges. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Yeah.
So in puppy yoga, for example, I might have kids as young as 8 years old doing it. You know
Oh,
what
okay.
I mean? And they have no conception of yoga. They're really just there for the puppies.
That's
But the
right.
thing
Okay.
is, we have to, the first portion, we're going to do it. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, one, not coming in with any expectations, any, what you think it might be, just come in with an open mind, because the groundwork of what yoga even is just being centered, remaining
Mm.
centered, testing your focus. Where is your focus? You know
Okay.
what I mean? The mind often will take you left, it'll take you right, it will take you
Yeah.
everywhere outside of where you currently are. So it's
Yes.
more so channeling through your breath, which is, and like I tell all of my, classmates, is that your breath is the most advanced practice in yoga. So if you're watching your breath,
Mm.
it doesn't matter what we're doing. I could have you in a downward facing dog, I could have you in a child's pose. I'm
Mhm.
just opening up your body while we're breathing. That's all I'm doing to you. We're not doing anything crazy besides working with that flame, protecting that flame, and opening the body in the process. So I probably just tell people that, come in with an open mind,
Mhm.
and then also feel out your instructor, because your instructor is so important, just like anything you do.
Right.
Your boss, your teacher, not everyone is for you. So be optimistic, go in, try it out, feel their energy. It's all about energy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? There's so many times when I'm in the room and someone will come in all tight and nervous, and then they'll see me and they'll just relax because I relax, and I show them
Mhm.
that I'm just like you. And I've been there before, where
Right.
I have felt uncomfortable, or I just didn't feel comfortable in the body and I wasn't sure if I was able to do something. But it isn't until you let that go, embrace the process, and take the focus off of you. I think, to tie into your question, it's
Wow.
because you're thinking about yourself too much. Let that
Mm.
go. And that's why we're here as instructors, for you to look at us, focus on us, and that takes you away from you. Anytime you're too much in the mirror, you need to scooch it to the side. So I would just say, come in with an open mind. It doesn't matter how old you are. You know what I mean? Again, that's where your breath comes in key. If you can't hold something, or your body, if your mobility doesn't grant you to do, a yogi squat, then like I tell my students, well, if you can't squat down, how about you stand all the way up and just hold your hands in prayer? And that's it.
Okay.
And then when we
Okay.
breathe, instead of, being in the squat and focusing on the belt of your body while you're in standing, do the same thing. You can do everything. You just
Okay.
have to adjust as you get older.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I appreciate you for saying, talking about the age that
Hmm.
it's appropriate at any age. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so I have also talked to some people where people can get confused about yoga being a religious practice
Okay.
versus yoga as a wellness tool. How
Yeah.
would you explain the difference, especially for people who are hesitant, as you were just kind of touched on, but people are hesitant because they feel like it's a religion and
Okay.
not necessarily, so yeah, could you touch on that for us?
Hmm. I think some people would classify as watching football every Sunday as religion. So it's just being
Mm,
overly obsessed to
okay.
the point where it's your way of life. So I wouldn't classify yoga as a religion. So don't think you're stepping into a cult. Don't think you're stepping into anything that's gonna, put you in something that you don't maybe feel as though, based off of perception, that you may not spiritually
Right.
aligned, because you have your own alignment and you're worried that that might sway you or do whatever. That's not what that is.
Okay.
I think some people just take it so much as a way of life that it becomes their own religion, but
Right.
it's not. It's a
Okay.
wellness tool. It's for you to give back to yourself, get back to yourself.
Mm,
And that's how I would best describe that. Like I said with your instructors, if you do feel like it's too much, like to the point where their philosophies are making you uncomfortable,
Mm.
just find someone else. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Because it may just be that deep for them. But if you go to someone else, they'll just show you a different side. So I definitely wouldn't classify it as religion. Um, I would just classify it as once you really tap into it, you just don't want to stop. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, as you touched on earlier about puppy therapy,
Mhm.
I've heard of goat therapy, well,
Yeah.
goat yoga.
Yeah.
How is it similar? And what do the
Mhm.
puppies bring to the space?
Mhm.
And how have you seen people actually show up differently when it comes to their emotions and physical movement with the puppies?
Well, the biggest difference I would say between the puppies and the goat is that you don't have to worry about them climbing on your back like
Oh,
that. Okay.
okay.
So you don't have to worry about that aspect of having to carry that sort of load. I couldn't
Okay.
imagine. I mean, I've heard people do goat yoga. I've never done that. I'll just remain in my lane unless that opens up and then I want to explore. So,
Okay.
um, two different avenues. It's just, I feel as though, like, so with puppies, it's interesting because you're dealing with such gentle beings
Yeah.
at a very like young age. So the puppies that we deal with in puppy therapy to help humans or help people deal with their emotions or just open up in general. When you see something so small, so they're all about 8 weeks old. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So they're babies,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
We're not dealing with full grown, where they've already developed an archetype or a personality
Right.
type.
Okay.
We are catching these babies in their essence. So
Wow.
what you're able to explore is if you have a pet or if any listener right now has one, be it a cat, be it a dog, be a rabbit, be it a hamster, or fish, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? You're able to actually see who they are before somebody molds them into what they
Right.
want them to be.
Yes.
So you're able to see their essence. Like, for example, my favorite one is the German Shepherds because they're known to be America's heroes, right? The
Okay.
canine, they're
Mhm.
coming in to save you. They are
Right.
willing to give their life. They're not even thinking of their life, they're thinking about helping you.
Yeah.
But when we have these German Shepherds in the class, and they're so small, we see them as adults, their ears are sticking straight up, right? They're alert, they're aware,
Yes.
they're ready. But when they're
Yes.
puppies, they're down. And they look like these very they're socially shy. And to
Okay.
be honest, they're low key have this kind of not fear, but they're not scared, but they don't have that courage that they have once they're molded into that. So you're able to
Okay.
see them when they're that young and you can appreciate them for that. And then also knowing how they can be once they get older, you can kind of shape and go with it. But it's nice to see them in their pure form. And the great thing about puppy therapy or puppy yoga, once again, is that it can open the hardest heart. I've seen typically, in yoga, you think it's predominantly women, which it is, but there's also some guys that flow in too,
Mhm.
right? Which can also be an intimidating space. You're already thinking this is for women, or you're thinking this is not
Okay. Yeah.
for us, right? So whenever I see the couple of guys who trickle in, which I appreciate every single time, we love them.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know they come in and sometimes they're really tight, you know what I mean, they're just not
Mhm.
really smiling that much. But once the puppies come out, you'll just see them smiling, open, playing, they're laying on the ground, getting the hugs, getting the kisses, getting everything that they wish that probably they could get out more, or that they're able to feel vulnerable more.
Right.
So puppy yoga just in general just opens up a floor of vulnerability. But I think pets in general, if you do or don't have one, it
Right.
opens that space for you to give that genuine love that they want. And it also gives you a good mirror of yourself. Puppy
Mm.
yoga, it's like, you know people kind of praise me, or people praise me on how, like, I'm so focused throughout the practice, like I don't sway no matter if I'm getting attacked by corgis, or
Okay.
if, not attacked, but stampeded because they roll in
Yes,
packs.
exactly. They wanna play, jump
They
on
love
you and
that.
play. Right.
Right. And but so what's interesting about that is that once again you're able to, test your focus. you're able to see how focused are you in the chaos, because yoga, tying
Mhm.
back into the motion or the notion, is that
Yeah.
how centered are you when things are going crazy around you. So it's all about coming in, being centered on the inside, that you're able to handle everything that's going on the outside. So it's a great test to see where you're at. Where's your patience at? Are you an impatient person? That
Wow.
will, it will, because we're, in that class we don't want to see anything that's not supposed. So it tests that. Do you have
Yeah.
that patience? you
Okay.
know um yeah, it's great. So I definitely would see it as a big benefit to others to join, or just to, if you have a pet, to just practice to see, can you fill your own cup before you fill the other, because they're going to
Mm.
get your attention no matter what. They're going to get it, but first take care of you, and then you can take care of them. So, but yeah.
That is a powerful statement, to fill
Mhm.
your own cup. Like that is,
Mhm.
yeah. And I love that you explained it, um, puppy therapy of, you know, testing your own patience. Like it really is,
Mhm.
it's like a mirror image of, your patience, and just different things that you may need to work on yourself.
Mhm.
Um, just having another being there,
Mhm.
it's not a human being, but still, just having, another, um, I don't want to say,
Vessel.
yeah, and just a gentle, like you said, they're so tiny, uh,
Mhm.
and needy almost, like
Mhm.
they're depending on you to be gentle with them.
Mhm.
So yeah, I really appreciate that. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Mhm.
And yeah, so would you ever, or do the classes allow a person to bring in their own puppy if they have one?
No,
Okay.
no. So unfortunately, how it's set up is that, let's just say you have a breed or a litter of puppies and you want to socialize them before they start going out. This is their opportunity to get that social play, and
Cool.
just get acquainted and just kind of get that energy out, and
Okay.
feel what it's like to be around a bunch of humans and all different types. So
Mhm.
unfortunately, no, but
Yeah.
you never know in the future what people will hold. So
And
yeah.
and and it makes sense, I guess, because these are you kind of work with the same group of puppies, I'm assuming, over a time period.
So it might be one weekend, like this weekend, I think we're having like Huskies. I want to say Huskies is the breed. So they're going to be talking all class. So they're
Yes.
going to be in your ear. So you're going to have to be able to really, and to even hear me, you're going to have to really, you know what I
Okay.
mean? But no, so it could be every weekend's new. There's so many puppies out there that just need, love and social time. So, maybe we see them again, but it's usually we just roll through, and just go through.
And then just one more question about the puppy therapy. It's so interesting.
Hmm.
Is the it sounds like each class, it's all the same breed with each class. Is it ever a mix of breeds?
Mm-mm. Now
No.
you
All
may catch in the litter, so there's always like the runt. So always like maybe there'll be
Yes.
like, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
there that puppy's always in there. They
Okay.
may be the smallest one, and you'll see them putting up the
The
biggest fight against the other
Yes.
puppies, because they're all kind of, you know what I mean. So that is usually what we may see.
Okay.
Last weekend we had golden doodles, but then there were also a couple of toy doodles in the mix, meaning there were two puppies that were like miniature versions of those.
Oh.
So I know. So you just never know what they're going
Okay.
to give birth to. So yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Hmm.
So, one of the elements of Depression Proof Your Life is
Hmm.
how environments affect mental wellness.
Yeah.
How does the energy of space, with it being movement, the animals, and community, actually impact a person's ability to feel safe and supported during a yoga class?
It is everything.
Hmm.
So, like I say, you can tell when you walk in a room if it feels heavy or if it feels light. You
Okay.
can feel it like that. And I always say, if
Hmm.
it feels heavy, or if you start, something's not right, and that's your
Mm.
intuition. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
your space, your community, all that stuff matters. But usually when you step into that sort of space, it is healing, so you won't catch that sort of energy. If anything, you're just reading your own, based on how you
Okay.
feel that morning, or how the day has treated you, and how you're stepping in at the evening. But your space is everything. You want to make sure that, when you come in, you feel welcomed. You know what I mean? When you come in, that the people that you're around, that it's not, you don't feel anything hostile going on. Like, you don't want to feel anything like that, because once again, like you said, with movement, it's going to restrict you, because now you're on guard mode. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? You can't,
Yeah.
have a cup of tea and pour in coffee and expect it to be tea. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're not going
Hmm.
to get what you want out of it. So, it's everything, not just, and yoga is not just, us on a mat. Yoga goes outside of life too. It's just remaining centered,
Mm.
and focusing on your breath in that process.
Yeah.
So, but then also, that being said, every lotus comes out of the mud, so that also means that you could be in chaos, or you could be in something that
Right.
isn't, the cleanest water. But if you're able to just at least focus on you and that center, it doesn't matter again what's going on, as long as you just remain baseline. So, but to tie back in, it's so important. Your environment is important. Who you're around is important. Who you're speaking to, how people are speaking to you, how you are speaking.
Yeah.
Everything's a reflection. So first, check, and then, go. But it's your I and O of everything. So you want positivity all around you. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate you for touching on that. I was talking to a friend of mine that had gone to, was trying out meditation, and
Yeah.
uh, they were focused on, um, and I believe it with the meditation, they couldn't allow their phones, and they couldn't remember whether they had turned their phone off or not.
Okay.
Um, and they couldn't focus on the meditation practice. They couldn't get
Mhm.
centered and focused and relaxed because
Mhm.
they were thinking, "Oh my God, I didn't turn my phone. Oh my
Mhm.
God," just all of those different thoughts. How how do you start to teach someone to push that aside and really focus and get centered? How would you teach that or explain that to someone?
First thing I would say is, you just got to let it go. Whatever it is, be it the phone, be it, oh my God, did I let it go? For right now, just let it go. So, what I would say, if they're in class and that is something, typically the instructor will, but you may be so in your head that you may not even listen to the cues. That's why it's in part important to, not just remain, monotone, like to have personality, because
Mhm.
it'll click you back into reality.
Okay. Yeah.
um because you're not here right now, is
Yeah.
what that's saying. You're
Right.
somewhere else. You're not even in the room. You're
Mhm.
physically here, but spiritually you're somewhere else. So what I would probably say, if you ever feel that, because if I'm there, I'm midway through class, I might just say, if I notice that someone's not there, whatever
Mhm.
you're thinking about, I need you to let it go. I need you to focus on your
Okay.
temples, and I need you to breathe in. So I can typically feel that.
Yeah.
But if you're tuned in right now and you're listening and you feel that come into you, just do a deep breath into your temples, like the house of your mind, like you're opening up a window. Let it go. Either or. So what if it dings? So what if it rings? We'll just move on. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? We might even laugh. We might even, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Right.
let it be comedic. Like, just, but also that's also being present, because, you are presently aware of the fact that your phone is on, or might be whatever.
Okay.
But at the same time, okay, we're in that presence. We're going to deal with that, but we're going to let that go, because we need to show up right now.
Focus on. Mhm.
Hmm. So that's mainly for them. So if you guys are ever feeling something like that, just like literally like a bubble, just pull it out, let it go, and just, it's okay. Just say it's okay. It's fine. I
I
tell
love the
myself all the
example of the
time.
bubble.
Yeah,
Just put that bubble over to the side for
over
right now.
there. Just, and if
Right.
you need to physically do it and somebody looks
Right.
at you, I just had to get that out.
Mhm.
I just had to release, and then just continue on. So that's primarily for whoever's tuning in. I'm just going to give you that verbally. But if you're in class and we register that, typically you'll hear something that will pull you back in. But
Yeah.
we're also still trying to move through. We're not trying to give that too much attention, because we don't want to amplify it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. Of course,
Hmm.
I'm also a voice actor, and
Hmm.
I I was a social worker before being a voice actor, and I had taken a lot of mindfulness classes, just because of the line of work that we were in. It was very helpful. And one of the things that I realized in taking a lot of these classes, back then, I realized that a lot of times we don't take a deep breath, like we don't breathe, like
We don't.
we breathe because we're alive, if we're
Mhm.
alive, but we really don't just take in really a
Yeah,
deep breath, and it's that is taking a deep breath is so calming. So
it
like you said,
is.
just really being focused and pushing all things aside. And that's why I say I like the, because you're literally telling yourself, like, let that go,
Let
push
it
the whole
go.
bubble over to the side.
Mhm.
um but yeah, it's so important, and I appreciate you for going into a little bit more, examples and detail
Mhm.
for those, because like I said, even in just in life period, uh again, I started learning about mindfulness, as a social worker, and then even as when getting into voice acting, it was like there are times that I'm reading a script and it's like, I'm not getting it right, I'm not getting it right, and as soon as I start feeling those, I'm not get, it's like, okay, I'm definitely not gonna get it. I'm definitely not gonna get it right if I'm pushing myself, or forcing it. So yeah, I've definitely used some of those very techniques. So
And
um,
also, not to cut you off,
yeah.
Miriam, but like
Hmm.
something that one of my friends told me, he taps into spirituality, and we were talking about anxiety and
Yeah.
depression and
Hmm.
just, other uncomfortable emotions. We all have
Yes.
them, and
Hmm.
they're not fun. It's
Right.
great when you're feeling good and life is good. That's amazing. But we also still have to deal with the other things that just
That's
come
right.
up, like
That's
these
right.
flashlights, right? That need
Hmm.
your attention. Is that, and like he told me, because I told him, I was like, I hate whenever I feel this emotion, but at the same time, he said, well, that still has to flow through you. You still got to let
Mm,
it go through.
that's so
Don't
good.
let it do this ping pong thing where you're just keeping it in, and it's
Yeah.
just building, like you said with the voice acting, where you're just going through this, kind of like bouncy movement. Feel it, acknowledge it, go through
Hmm.
it, and then take that deep breath, and then push it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. And
of
it's so
course.
true. And I think that unfortunately, um, uh, I think a lot of society does that. We hold a lot in,
Hmm.
whether it's because we don't, again, the whole reason, one of the major reasons I created this platform is because
Hmm.
people stay isolated in depression and anxiety because they don't have a space to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about a physical space like this,
Hmm.
having a platform, but just literally just holding it in and keeping it to themselves, not
Let it
talking
out.
about it. Yeah, you have to let it out. And
Let it out.
that's why journaling, of course, getting on, but that's why journaling is so important and so helpful,
Hmm.
because it's just another way of letting it out.
Yes.
So
Don't
yeah.
keep that in. Let
Hmm.
that out. You have to. Like you said with journaling, that is the perfect method. If you
Hmm.
just want to even get started with anything, just write it down.
Yeah.
Anything, just write it down. It don't even judge yourself,
Right.
because I think too people are afraid if you say something, that something might come true because
Right.
you feel this amount of,
Hmm.
turmoil or
Hmm.
whatever. No, your feelings are valid.
Right.
That's your experience that you've had,
That's
just
right.
like their gaze in is a completely different than what you've experienced, but you need to just to
Yeah.
process, and then two, to
Hmm.
give yourself a nice little hug of understanding. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because two, it's like all it is, again, with yoga, but it's really just everything and coming into your center. You're just hugging that inner child that needs your love. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, when we were kids, we were all expressive on the playground, having fun and
Hmm.
doing all the things, and, feeling just rich off of life. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then you get older and you even look around you and you see how people become tight, and you think that's socially normal because people have quote unquote
Right.
grown up. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have this anxiety that you're feeling, or this, your depression based off certain things that have happened. And really what you need to be acknowledging in your writing or just in your work or breath work is that maybe that kid's sad because you haven't taken it out to play in like years. So it's hanging out on the swing because you've just, schlepped it through all these things that it hasn't had any fun with. And
Mhm.
now it's sad, depressed. And that's what that is. You know what I mean? Trying to let you
Wow.
know that that's how it feels. And with writing, like you said, it allows you to have that honest conversation without judgment. Like nobody's
Yeah,
judging,
that's
you know?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Awesome. 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 All right. So, oh, I think we just talked about just
Everything.
releasing pressure from the different actually having feeling and I think self-awareness and I think you may have mentioned something about just being actually aware is extremely important because when you feel that rising up that frustration whatever it is because
Mm-hmm.
it's different for everyone, it's
Mm-hmm.
important that you recognize it first. That's
Mm-hmm.
that you actually recognize, okay, hold on, I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
frustrated. Why am I getting frustrated? Or,
Why?
what is, especially if it's a situation where, I'll never forget years ago, I got mad at my supervisor,
Yeah.
and it was, and because of the relationship that we had, she actually asked me. She was like, "What's going on? That you wouldn't normally just react that way. What's going on? That's not you."
Mm-hmm.
Um, but of course, that's before I even became like really self aware of my own thoughts and emotions and feelings. But I was happy that she actually recognized that that was not me. So
Mm.
that she actually pulled me to the side and I was able to talk to her about it. So
Mhm.
yeah, those different things are extremely important. And of
Yeah.
course, what were we going to say?
No, yeah, I was agreeing.
Yeah. So this kind of touches on what we were just talking about. For someone who's feeling overwhelmed or disconnected, what are small, gentle ways that they can actually start to reconnect with their body without needing class or equipment? What can they actually do, and what advice would you give?
I'll give you an exercise right now. You ready?
Oh yeah,
Let's do it. All right, so this is called a VW exercise. It's very simple. Okay? It's not complicated at all, but it tends to
V as in Victor, W.
like
Okay,
Victor Walt.
okay.
Okay? That's a great name, by the way. All right,
It's good.
so VW exercise. This gives me a great gauge on how much control you have over the little things in your body. Okay.
Okay,
So, Marianne, I want you to do it with me. Okay. I'm just going to scooch over so I can see my hand. All
okay.
right. So, left hand up, tuck your thumb, fingers together.
Hmm.
Give me a V. Give me a W. Okay.
Oh,
Separate that pinky. Give me a
hmm.
V. Take your time.
Hmm.
Give me a W.
Wow.
Last V.
Is that the V? Oh.
Yep. And
Hmm.
last W.
That's W.
You actually have great control. So a lot of people struggle with that. And that's something too that'll help you avoid things like carpal tunnel, from doing too much
Wow.
gripping or just So that's your VW practice. So if you want something that's small that you can do, you can practice the VW at home. You can do it, out in the office, at work. You can do wherever you're at over a coffee. You know what I mean? Practice the VW. That just shows you how much control do you have over little things like your hands. And we use our hands all the time. So
Right.
many times I see, individuals who can't do the V, they'll be like kind of scrambling, trying to like get it together, and then they'll have to use their right, and they'll have to, and then I ask, well, why is that hard for you? It's simple, just a nice V and a nice W.
Wow.
And that's a great exercise if you just want to get in tune with the little things in your body.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so funny because my sister and my nephew do this all the time. Do that all the time. And is there
Mhm.
a specific reason why we did it with our left hand?
Well, I like to start with the left because for most of us, our right is our dominant hand. So I just
Okay.
like to switch it into the left, and then you can do
Yeah.
it with your right and see how does your right feel. Is that one a little bit more? Is it tougher on the right or is it tougher on the left? And
Right.
then do it with both of your hands. So I like to start with your left to at least give you the
Okay.
confidence that you can do it with the least. So if you're left-handed, do it with your right, and if you're right-handed, do it with your left. Then do it with your other hand. Then do it with both.
Hmm. Wow.
Yep.
thank you so much for being here. And that she was saying your feelings are valid as we were, talking earlier. As we were
Mhm.
talking earlier. But yeah, I really love that.
Mhm.
BW. Okay, I'll have to practice that, from time
Please.
to time. So
Mhm.
thank you so much for sharing that. I really do appreciate it.
Mhm.
Um, so if there was one thing you want people to remember about caring for their mental health through movement, what would you want them to carry with them after today's conversation?
I would like for you all to carry with you that through movement, you can have anything you want, you can be anything that you want, you can give that inner child the life that it craves. Don't stifle, who you are, where you want to go based off of your, present moment. That's what movement's for. It gets you from point A to point C. So at
Mhm.
least do that for yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So I would just say, with movement and just, mind body practice and all, this is for you. This is to help you, assist you in your journey of life, and you owe it to yourself to give yourself your best life. And with that, you're going to need some movement, okay? And it's one step at a time, no matter what that step looks like. Okay, it doesn't have to be crazy. Okay, it can be as simple as a VW. It can be
Yeah.
anything. It can be as simple as breathing into your rib cage. It can be anything. But
Mm.
one step at a time is all that I ask.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Because of something that you said, it just triggered another question, and that is,
Mhm.
I know for myself, and for a lot of people that I know, injury.
Yes.
How do you address injury? Because I know a lot of times I've been so used to strenuous exercise as I've gotten older, and my injuries,
Yeah.
I guess, are more prominent or getting worse, I should say.
Okay.
Um, a lot of times I realize that I can't. Well, I've
Mhm.
acknowledged that I can't do that strenuous exercise, but a lot of times I feel like if I'm not doing something that's, causing me to have a pour down sweat, that I feel like I'm not really doing enough.
Mhm.
So I have had to, focus on and really be mindful of moving into other types of exercise that I know are beneficial for me, although it
Mhm.
might not be the strenuous exercise where I'm sore the next day or something.
Mhm.
So how uh, can can you touch on the importance of yoga and how you can,
Mhm.
and if yoga is something good that people can actually start even if they do have an injury, a back injury or knee injury or something like that?
Mhm. So I think just to your point, you know your body best.
Mhm.
That's it. You know what you can do and you
Right.
know what you can't do. Or that is something that is not saying can't, but you may not be where you used to be.
Mm,
And that's
okay.
fine
Yeah.
because you at least need a baseline. Okay? So
Mhm.
if you can't run, you can walk. If
Right.
you got the walking down, maybe you can speed walk. If you got that down, maybe you can pick that pace up. But you want to start all the way from the base, all the way from the bottom, wherever you're at. Just and again, you're your biggest project. Okay,
Mhm.
so you're constantly, how I felt at 6 versus 12 versus 18 versus 24. Those are all different bodies, and I'm
Right.
only gonna progress and gonna have to readjust. So readjust is the first thing, and like
Mhm.
you said, and just embrace it and go with it from there. And with
Okay.
yoga, like I said, your most advanced practice is simply your breath. So even if you show up and you can't do something or your body doesn't allow you to, you want to be gentle with it and you want to embrace that because you don't want to hurt yourself. If you're
Yeah.
dealing with an injury, you want to be gentle, you want to be soft. So if you aren't able to do something, focus on your breath and say, you know what, I may not be able to do that, but you know what, I'm still able to be here and I'm still able to be present and I'm still able to at least give my body that and letting it know that I'm still showing up for it in that manner. So
Mhm.
I would just say, register yourself, but also express it. Like if you are dealing with something that you feel
Right.
like you want to, like you said, get it out, say it. There's nothing wrong with
Mhm.
saying, I can't. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But let's see what you can do.
Right.
And that's it. So yoga is great. It's very gentle. I'd recommend you do a restorative process. Don't do anything crazy. Like don't throw yourself into a hot yoga. You don't
Mm.
even have to do that. You know what I mean? You can get all hot and sweaty and go crazy like you see in the videos. Or you can lean into that restorative practice that I typically take classmates through. You've been through it, where I
Mhm.
just, we get the same effect going at a different pace. So just know
Right.
you can do the same thing at a different pace.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
All right. So I know that your computer setup didn't allow you to actually be on your computer, but with you
Yeah.
being on your phone, will you still be able to show the audience some yoga moves?
Yeah. And you know what? Give me 1 second,
Yeah, I was
man.
gonna say
Abby.
what I can do is actually just is kind of put it in into the little waiting room, give you a
Could
few
you?
minutes. Yeah, and just mute
Okay.
your microphone so that
Got it.
any movement that you may have to do, and then
Okay.
you can just let me know. You can text me or something and let me know when you're ready, and or either once you pop your microphone back on, that'll let me know that you're ready. Awesome, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right. So, if you were just, if you're actually just kind of chiming in or something, Janelle is actually getting ready to prepare to do some yoga moves. She's just getting her setup straight. So I'm really excited about this, and really excited about her being here and being able to show us a couple of different moves. Because I know a lot of times when we're looking at when I'm looking at yoga on uh, social media or even in videos, a lot of it are inverted positions. It's like, yeah, not trying to injure myself. So, um, she's she'll be with us in just a minute to actually show us some different yoga moves. So we'll be right back. Hey guys, I just wanted to pop back on and let you guys know if you wanted to change clothes, if you needed to. Janelle will be right back. She's just setting up her space so that she can show us a few beginner yoga moves that we can actually do. So it'll give you your time to get a drink of water and change your clothes before Janelle gets back.
All right, guys, you ready? Okay, I'm gonna turn this camera on. Mind you, I have to do this on the phone, so we're just
Hmm.
going to roll with it. So let me turn this camera on. And like I said, with the notion of the friend who was like, oh my God, is my phone on? We're gonna let that flow through. Okay, so beautiful, you guys. All right, Marianne, are you with me?
Myself off stage so that you can actually have the space. But yes, I am. I'm here with you.
Okay, cool. All right, you
I'm actually
guys.
gonna step
So
over and actually do it with you.
cool. All
Thank you.
right. You're welcome. So we're going to keep this very basic. So if you can, wherever you are, I ask that you join me into a kneeling position. This is kneeling. So if you're ever in a class and you hear the yoga instructor say, join me in kneeling, this is your kneeling. That being said, you guys know your body's best. You know it feels great. You know it doesn't feel good at all. If this is too much, you can lift your bodies up. 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 Okay? This is just where I am. Okay? So once you're here, hands on top of the knees. Okay? That being said, relax your shoulders. Often we hold a lot of tension in the shoulders. So I want you to relax your right shoulder down, relax your left shoulder down. That being said, I want you to focus on your rib cage. Okay, we're going to work with your lymphatic system, focusing on your diaphragm. Okay, so each breath that you do, okay, hands are open. I want it through the nose, exhale through the mouth. It's an icy breath out, meaning you can hear your breath.
Looks like we might have lost our connection with Janelle, but I do want to put up her information. She may be trying to log back in, but in the meantime, I want to put up her information just in case anyone wants to reach out to her. Janelle is a yoga instructor. She also teaches German nationally and internationally. Uh, Moved to the States from Germany in 2014. So this is her contact information for anyone that wants to reach out to her or sign up for one of her yoga classes if you're local. Um, I'll leave this up for a few minutes, but I certainly hope, I really appreciate Janelle for being here tonight, sharing her knowledge and experience. It has been definitely extremely helpful. And of course, I don't know if, just in case you guys weren't aware, she was actually on her cell phone, had to be on her cell phone. So that may be the reason that she actually lost connection by the time she actually was actually doing those yoga moves. But the little bit that she did share with us, I hope that that was very helpful. The connection cut out as she was saying that you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, where you can actually hear the breath. So, thank you so much for joining us for season 2, episode 1 of Depression Proof Your Life Live. And again, I thank you so much for being here and see you next week. Thanks so much for joining us on Depression Proof Your Life tonight. If this conversation stirred up heavy emotions for you, please reach out for help. Call or text 988 for 24-hour support in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., look up your local crisis helpline. Stay connected with DPYL by following us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, and visit depression-prooflife.com for resources, blogs, and to share your story. Your story may be exactly what someone else needs today. Until next time, take care of yourself. And remember, healing is possible.